Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Turfway Park. The windows are open. Currently 43 minutes to post here for race number 1. 8 races on the card. Temperature here in Florence in the upper 30 degrees. And, of course, the poly track is listed as fast. 8 races on the card. We had a pretty good night here last night on the show and gave out some winners, and we hope to continue that trend. A couple of carryovers tonight to speak of. The single six, the 20-cent jackpot wager that starts in race number 3 with that low takeout, has a carryover of $17,346. Again, that's just a 20-cent base bet carryover over $17,346. Also, the 8th and final has the $1 high five wager every night here at the track, and there's a carryover in that wager of $2,750. 8 races on the card, 42 minutes to post. We'll dive right in and take a look here. Race number 1 from the track is a maiden filly mare $5,000 claimant event to go 6 furlongs, and the opener here does start the pick 5. I end up going with the 5, Rhoda's Jewel, as my top pick, coming from the barn at Kim Hammond. This one was 5th last start here when going a mile and 16th. Turns back to the 6 furlong distance today, gets Rodney Prescott up top, and I think the horse has a big chance to finally get that maiden broke in her 15th career start. Now, number 11 is one I like a lot, all the way to the outside. Analyze This Cat, 7-2 on the morning line. This one comes to the barn of John Hancock and rallied from far off the pace. Last start was flying through the stretch and just missed, and I think a repeat of that performance could land this horse in the circle as well. That was at the 5.5 furlong distance, going 6 furlongs today, and retains the services of Alan Garcia. For third, I went for number 2, Lady David. Now this one was second last start at Mountaineer. Nothing really to write home out Mountaineer's $4,000 levels, but if you go back, the straight maiden race where she was beaten just a length, that puts her good enough in here. Eric Reed is a good trainer, and of course you have to use his horses all the time. This one is 4-1 on the morning line. 5-11-2 for me. That does start the 50-cent pick 5. Second race is a non-3 claimant event. The claiming tag $5,000. It'll travel 6.5 furlongs. Now, this starts the early pick 4, just 14% takeout on our pick 4s, and they have been paying very well here at Turfway. Now, this race, I'm going to go to the outside, number 10, Christian Miss. This is an Indiana bred. Made her first start last start in the Steve Cahill barn and finished a fast close second, beaten 2 lengths, was way out wide with the Bug Boy that day, and gets the top jock Alvin Jimenez today and is 3-1 on the morning line. For second, number 7, Lady Voodoo. This one comes in from the East Coast and has been facing some stiff competition up there. As far as the numbers goes, this horse stacks up in here just as well as anybody. I like the newcomer coming in. I think this horse will display some speed. Now, this one has never raced on the synthetic, unproven on the poly, so I'm going to use her for second, 8-1, but I think she fits very well in here. Coming from the barn of Jamie Grubbs, and her go-to rider, Eddie Zuniga, back in town, has the call. Now, for third, number 1, Factress. This one comes from the barn of Gennaro Garcia. Was a dominant winner last start at Mahoney in the non-2 $5,000 level. Gennaro is a very good trainer, and he wins at a high percentage. And the Bug Boy's been heating up here, Joseph Ramos, and you get a 5-pound break in weight. Has drawn the rail. That's the reason I put him in third and not second. So I'm going to go 10-7-1 in race 2. And, of course, that does start the early pick 4. Third race from Turfway is a non-2 claimant event, $7,500, and they'll go a mile, and I'm going to keep the trend going to the outside yet again. Number 10, Sunday Scaries. I'll probably single this horse in my multi-race wagers, the pick 4s in the in the single 6s and such. But this one has drawn the outside. Doesn't bother me going the mile distance really that much because this horse doesn't have any speed anyway. So I think the speed to the inside of it, they'll go clear. Johnny can just cut this horse right towards the rail shortly after the gate. After the break, and save some ground, then come running late. Now, she was third, beaten 6 lengths last start when she rallied from 11th. She was slow to start that day and, of course, was wide throughout. Time before, same thing. Rallied from off the pace and just kind of leveled out late. Now, this one benefits from the third start off the layoff. I think will move forward, and herein for the 75 non-2 level has a chance to finally get that elusive non-2 victory. For second, number 1, Tomahawk Kitten. This is another one that has been trying to break that non-2 condition for a long time. In fact, the horse has ran 25 times, only has 1 win, but has 6 second-place finishes and 4 third-place finishes. Comes from the barn of Kathy Jarvis, and it gets Jose Riquelme tonight. And this one, I think, if this horse is tight, this horse can handle this field. I don't think she's seen anything as soft as this since Kathy claimed the horse, but Tomahawk Kitten is well-placed tonight, is drawing the rail, gets a good rider, Jose Riquelme. He's a very tactical rider, and he'll have this horse put in a good position to give her every chance to get that, or he rather, get that every chance to pick up that second career victory. For third, number 3, Who's Your Favorite? 10-1 on the morning line. Jose Arante sends this one out. And this one has been racing for the 15 level the past couple of starts. In fact, run for 30 at Keeneland 4-back. But the race I liked, even the race at Belterra for 12-5, was beaten just a length. This horse has raced on the Turfway one time, which was last time, was ninth, beaten 12 lengths. I'm going to draw a line through that race as this one drops in class, gets Machado, and it is 10-1. I wanted some value after using Sunday Scaries on top, who is going to be a short price, and probably Tomahawk Kitten to be second or third choice as well. Now, third race does start the single 6, and don't forget that carryover in the single 6, almost $18,000 in free money in the single 6. Now that takes us to the fourth race, a filly and mare open 8 claimer to go a mile. And in this race, I went for number 6, Caddy Chris. Now, this filly comes from the barn of Ron Brown, who's winning at a very high percentage here. In fact, I think he's hitting at about 26-27% at the current meeting, and just missed leading owner title for the holiday meeting on the last race that Ramsey could, he was battling Cannon Sarah Ramsey in the last race the horse they had entered, they won with. So they beat him the last day of the meet, and so he was second, but his horse is running very well. They're all in good form. And this one, in fact, was second in a very tough starter last start, Spirit. She's in later on the card. I think she's in for 12-5 tonight, but she's I think a 3-in-a-row winner for Doug Coyle. But Katie Chris is coming out of that good race, and if she repeats her race last start, I think she runs out the screen from this field, Katie Chris, for Ron Brown and Alvin Jimenez. Now for second, number 8, she's a Pontiac Brian Nippenberg trains, and this one is another one taking a drop in class. Ran for the 12-5 level last start where she was beaten 4 lengths. And the race at Indiana, the 1X optional quarter, that was a pretty good race that day. Haynesfest was the winner. She might tell. She came back and won a race at Churchill by open lengths and then ran here. But, you know, the horse won for 10 at Indiana. That race, if she can repeat those, that third race back, she'll have a good performance here tonight at 6-1. For third, number 3, Fashion Envy. This comes from the barn of Marianne Manning. Now, she's a newcomer here to the track, but she does a very good job with her horses, and Fashion Envy is coming out of a good race in her own right. She's making a class drop as well. She gets Angel Serpa back aboard, where this one was rallying from far back last start and ran a step into fourth and looked like she was going to keep going and get there, but she kind of flattened out the last 16th or so. But she drops in class today, has a benefit from the trip over the track, and I like her at a price of 6-1 here in the fourth race. Now the fifth race from Turfway starts the late pick 4. Again, 14% takeout on the pick 4s. It's a non-3-5 claimed event to go 6.5 furlongs. And you know I'm going to the outside yet again. Number 8, Regal Look. 7-5 on the morning line. I was trying to find a horse to beat this horse. I haven't had much luck here at the meeting with the jockey of Regal Look, but he's a better rider than his current stats show. So I'm going to try to catch him here in the pick 4 and pick 6. Regal Look, I think, has a really big chance in here. I'm going to use one other horse to save just in case, probably the horse I have put in the second spot, the 7, on the turnback for Mark Crystal and Rodney Prescott. But Regal Look ran last start out, made all the pace and kind of flattened out, run third, beaten 3 lengths. That was going a mile and 16th, turns back to a more suitable distance of 6.5 furlongs. Obviously, he won't be up and after the pace today, but the race should set up for his late running style. There is some speed in here. I'm sure Torresia go to the inside. Fred Country Boy will display speed. And there's a couple other ones in here that have speed as well. The Indiana bred Money Me Too. So I'm going to put the 8 on top. I think it sets up for him. The 7, Kiabasa on the turnback. I like that one at a price of 15-1. And number 9, Money Me Too is one I'll use for the third spot at 5-1. Again, Riquelme up for Ronnie Brown. Now this one will show speed is 5-1. And that's my third choice in race 5, start of the late. pick 4. Sixth race, it starts the final rolling pick 3 on the card. Maiden filly 3, Old Claimer, $7,500. They'll go 6.5 furlongs. I'm going to take the 2-for-1 angle here tonight. The entry from the barns of Mike Maker and Wesley Ward. Both of these fillies are owned by Ken and Sarah Ramsey, who back on December 31st here locked up their 17th leading owner title here at the track, and I believe something like their 73rd in the state of Kentucky since they've been owning horses. So they're always a force to be reckoned with, and if you can get 2 of them for the same money, why not take a shot? Headline Kitten on debut for Maker. Maker wins with maiden claimers at 23%, and has been doing very well here as of late at the track. He was leading trainer back in the holiday meet. I think that was his 22nd title here at Turfway. And Gerardo Corral is a newcomer to the jockey colony, currently winning around 32% here. He's riding for Wesley and Mike. He has the call here. Now the other part of the entry comes from the barn of Wesley Ward. The leading jockey Alvin Jimenez has the call. This one was third last start, beating a length, and was running them down there late and gets a trip over the track. Hadn't raced since that race at Woodbine. I don't know how much the horse got out of the race at Woodbine, where the horse was 12th and just kind of plodded around there, but did wake up last start on the class drop. So I'm getting 2-for-1 here with the 1 and 1A for the Ken and Sarah Ramsey ownership. For second, I'm going to use number 9, Almighty War, one of my favorite trainers. Joe Deegan sends this one out. This one ran on debut, showed some speed, faded back to 7th, beaten 19 lengths, but had an excuse, had a awkward beginning, and then with that rushing up and kind of making that early move, flattened out. I think she probably learned something. She got a lot out of the race. That was going a mile for 30. Now today she's in for 75, 6.5, 5-1. She'll definitely get some of my money. Now for third, number 6, Larry's Baby. Eric Reed drops this one in class. Debuted at Saratoga and didn't show much. Was 7th, beaten 30 lengths. Had a tardy start, but came back for 75,000, going 5.5 furlongs, and woke up, showed some speed, ran a respectable race. Was 6th, beaten 7 lengths, despite having a problem at the start again. Then went to Churchill off the layoff and was jammed in for the 15 ball. Showed speed and faded, but I think the horse's best race was on the turf. Now, sometimes we do see turf horses transgress over to this poly track, and they do very well. And I think this horse at 4-1 is a must-use as well. 196 in the 6th race. Now, the 7th race here is a filly mare 12-5 claiming event to go a mile, and in the 7th race, let me just check the changes. There are no changes, a field of 9 here to go a mile. But before we get to the 7th race, we're going to take a pause for the cause and ask you to please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Turfway Park. The windows are open 28 minutes to post here for the opener. 8 races on the card. Polytrack is fast, temperature in the upper 30 degrees. Race number 1, start of the pick 5. Scratch the 6, Regal Power. Number 6, Regal Power, has been scratched. Race 2, start of the early pick 4, no changes. Race 2 is clear. The third race starts the single 6. There are no changes in there. Just be reminded there's a carryover of better than $17,000. Race 4 is clear. If you'll just go all the way to the 5th race, there are 2 changes in race number 5. Scratch number 2, Menace the Dentist, and scratch number 4, Haunted Mesa. 5th race numbers 2 and 4 are out. Race 6 and 7 are both clear, no changes. You'll turn to the 8th and final. There is high five wagering in the 8th and final carryover of $2,750. A couple of changes. Number 7, South Uppers, jockey is 3 over. Rider switch on the 8, Gallant Cause, to Angel Serpa. Number 9, Kitten for Granny, the rider 5 pounds overweight. Again, the apprentice is 5 pounds over. And scratch the 10, Anteros. Number 10, Anteros, is scratched from the nightcap. Well, those are the changes at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the program, I will get those to you as they do so. Good luck. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy McNerney coming to you from the 3rd floor studio here at Turfway Park. Prior to the break-in changes, we got through the first 6 races on the card. We'll dive into the final 2 races here now. The 7th race is a 12-5 at Philly and Mare Claimer to go a mile. Now, several of these horses have faced each other here at the track, and I'm going to use the horse that just won this same exact condition as my top pick, number 5, No Interest. From the barn of Steve Cahill for Steve Z. Handler, Mike Wishmeyer, and, of course, the other partners as well. Now, No Interest is a 7-year-old mare. She's raced 21 times. She has 8 wins, 2 seconds, and 4 thirds. So 14 for 21 in the money. She's certainly a check getter, always tries, and she ran hard last start. Had to run hard to run down the leaders, but she got up right on the wire. She's facing some of these same horses here tonight, and she's been training still here at the track. She hasn't worked since her last race, and I'm going to take a shot and use her again. I think the pace scenario this race is comparable to the same scenario that was in her last race. I'm going to use her on top, and I'm not going to single, though. I'll add some other horses in here. There's a horse in here that's a price number 6, Tempestuous Amy. This one, I think, needed her last couple of races. The way she ran, she kind of ran even the first time out, and I knew she was better than that. And last time she ran, we gave her out on the show at a price, and she just missed second. She made the lead, in fact, and flattened out and ran third, got beat 3 lengths. She was like 13-1, I believe, that day. Tonight she's 12-1 in the program, and I look for this horse to improve third start off the layoff against Similar. Now, for third, I'm going to use number 4, Musabaka. Dick Finucane always runs his horses into shape, and this one has 2 starts off the layoff. So third start, returning to the route, which I think is more beneficial to this horse's running style and breeding, and drops in class. So I like this horse, Musabaka, 4-1 on the morning line. My third choice, 5, 6, and 4. Now, the 8th and final has that high five carryover of just shy of $2,800, and it is a condition claimer for horses who have not won 3 races in 2 years or never won 4 a lifetime. They'll go 6 furlongs, and In this race, I like a horse a lot in here from the barn of Billy Gowan. That's number 3, Kid Perfect. And this one's taking a drop-in class today, and if it's anywhere close to his best, he'll crush this field. He's a 5-time winner from 33 starts, has 4 seconds and 3/3, and gets Rogelio Miranda up top. And when Billy drops down horses, he does very well, but what I like when horses move to his barn, whether it's off a claim or a trainer transfer or whatever happens, he wins at a big number. He wins, in fact, 36%, and bringing horses off layoffs. Now, it's from a small sample size of just 12, but out of those 12 starts, he's won 25%. So I'm going to use the horse Kid Perfect. I like him a lot, 3-1 on the morning line. And then number 4, U.S. Marshall, probably the only other horse I'll use in the pick 4s or pick 6s with him. Comes from a hot barn, Ron Brown. Horse just won going a mile, turns back to 6 furlongs, and won against, better horses. That was a tougher condition than this condition today here at the meet. Now, this horse has speed. There are some other speed horses in here, but turning back to the 6 furlong distance, I don't think you'll see this horse anywhere near the lead tonight. Now, this one should be a few lengths off the pace and come rolling, and we'll get a little bit of pace in front of him. So I'll use him a second. I'll probably just single the 3, or single, but only use the 3 and 4 in the multi-race wagers. Now, for third, I'm going to go for number 6, Stay in Yo Lane. This one was a winner last start, rallying from just off the pace, and gets return services of Albin Jimenez for Billy Morey. Now, Morey is new to here in Kentucky to Turfway, but we all know him from around the country. He used to do very well in California and then most recently in Chicago, and his horses are running very well. In fact, I think he's ran maybe 9 horses here with 4 wins and a second, so certainly you got to use him. 7-2 on the morning line, 3-4-6. Race 8 has that high 5 carryover. Currently 22 minutes apiece. The horses are on their way over from the backside for the first race. We appreciate you coming on out tonight, and don't forget the single 6 carryover. You want to get involved, 20-cent base bet, just shy of $18,000 in free money in that carryover. Good luck.